Members of this body are given the power to appoint citizens to specific boards. This power affects all of our lives and should be taken seriously and to be exercised with great care. My neighbors have objected strenuously to the appointment of one individual to the board of the Miracle Mile North HDOC. We have also objected strenuously to the council member's refusal to replace this unfit constituent. The appointee is openly hostile to historic preservation. The appointee has been indicted for tax fraud, money laundering, conducted over a period of 11 years. One of his co-conspirators is headed for prison, and this appointee, Alan Friedman, will stand trial in June. Meanwhile, Mr. Friedman, a campaign fundraiser, continues to serve on our board at the pleasure of Councilman Weiss. This is wrong. This is an insult to your constituents and to honorable government. We are bitterly offended and our lives are damaged. Thank you.
Henrietta Cosentino. The voters demanded transparency when we passed our new city charter into law. Last year, City Controller Laura Chick proposed to audit a program housed in City Attorney's Office, and the matter landed in front of City Council. In the end, only one council member supported Controller Chick's proposed audits, and it was not, unfortunately, Jack Weiss, the council member who is currently running for City Attorney's Office. Audits have become a campaign issue for good reason. Failing to act in support of transparent city government is a betrayal of city trust. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you hold on 1 second?
Constituent of the City Council. I'm truly disappointed in Council's indifference to the traffic congestion caused by overdevelopment. As we speak, 2 towers are going up along the Wilshire corridor, and construction is clogging traffic. Meanwhile, intermittent DWP projects are slowing traffic to a fall on Santa Monica Boulevard. Out of the major east-west thoroughfares, only Pico and Olympic remain fully open to traffic, so it is most often impossible to move through the city. I believe a large part of this congestion is being caused by work and overdevelopment in Mr. Weiss's district, who seem to have disregard for sound planning practices. This and his neglected constituents are a betrayal of public trust and an offense to the community who is elected to serve.
Roseanne, and we're followed by Timothy Blair, followed by David Ewing.
Good morning. My name is Roseanne Paynon. I live in Beverly Grove. And first, I'd like to thank those members of the council who are actually listening and paying attention to these public comments. Several years ago, the residents of this city rose up and demanded your protection. Their subject was mansionization, the size of single-family homes. Stable neighborhoods were threatened in every part of Los Angeles with grossly overbuilt homes. Many of you authored a motion instructing the city to enact an ordinance to limit mansionization. Dozens of homeowners groups and neighborhood councils put their blood, sweat, and tears into creating that measure. But then what happened? One councilman stepped forward to block the proposal from becoming law. He used stalling tactics and a series of evasions in his plum committee. His tricks worked for nearly a year. There was no public support for his games. Perhaps he was working on behalf of the backroom real estate speculators and profiteers that fund his political ambitions. Drilling holes and delaying the city's mansionization ordinance was a betrayal of the public trust by Mr. Weiss. Your rules should protect us from the self-interest of a single member. Thank you.
Then David Ewing, followed by Shelley Wagers.
Thank you. My name is Timothy Blair, and I'm a lawyer in Council District 5. I object to the manipulation regulation of State Bill 1818 to legitimize outrageous real estate development projects. SB 1818 authorized local governments to adapt zoning regulations to create more affordable housing. For council members like Jack Weiss, the state bill provided a golden opportunity for Florida developers to fund campaigns. Mr. Weiss used his position on the Planning and Land Use Committee to obliterate reasonable limits on scale and density. This council enacted an ordinance that allowed 3 times more density than the state intended. Earlier this month, the courts came to a rescue and dismantled the city's outrageous, misbegotten ordinance. Subverting the laws to gut zoning ordinances is a betrayal of public trust and an offense to the community Jack Weiss was elected to serve.
Thank you, Shelley Wager, on behalf of the Santa Ana Valley.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Ewing. I'm a resident of Venice, and I'm here to speak to you about one of your favorite subjects. In 2005, California Appellate Court took this body to task for the behavior of certain of its members. I'm sure you remember fondly the Blue Zebra case and its infamous rule. One of our finest judges and citizens, Larry Rubin, wrote, "A fundamental principle of due process is, quote, he who decides must hear." The inattentiveness of certain council members during the hearing prevented the council from satisfying that principle. The court made this body rehear the Blue Zebra Act. Now, I understand that the Brown Act constraints mean that you sometimes have to confer during council session. But there is a difference between doing necessary business and just showing heedless discourtesy to the public. I don't mean to paint you all with the same brush. Some of you are consistently attentive and respectful to your constituents, and we thank you for that. But there are others who could not be bothered. One in particular has earned the nickname Cell Phone Jack. Even after the Blue Zebra court spanking, Councilman Weiss doesn't get it. He was dismissive of the charge when it was brought. He was dismissive of the ruling when it was made, and he has not changed his behavior since. Arrogance is not a qualification for public office. I urge the council to hold its members to a basic standard.
Thank you, Mr. Ewing. Shelley Wager?
Good morning. My name is Shelley Wagers. I've been in Council District 5 and I'm a constituent of the City Council. A pressing topic for Los Angeles is protection of our environment. We need a greener city, but our citizens have had to sue this government to get it. Courts have had to tell the city that it is violating CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act. The flouting of our basic environmental protections has got to stop. 3 recent examples. 1, an expansion project was approved for the traffic clogged Beverly connection at the intersection of Beverly and Los Angeles Boulevards. 2, Pico and Olympic Boulevards were suddenly turned into one-way streets. 3, this body adopted a plan to triple densities around the city under State Bill SB 1818, and Plum pronounced the plan exempt from environmental review. In each instance, voters had to sue, and the courts agreed with the voters. Now, respect for our basic environmental protections is about to be dealt another serious blow. Mr. Weiss and his Plum committee